Hi everyone, and a happy new year to all my DDs out there, all the fam. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know. It's almost been a year since I've posted anything on my channel. Um, it's been rough. It's been rough, and I feel like this first video should actually just be about me telling you what was going on. Last year, 2021, was a bit of a rough year when it came to my health, and I did wanted I wanted to um, share my challenges and stuff with you guys as I was going through it, but I was just not in that headspace to do it. So right now I feel like I'm ready, and right now, um, with the process that I'm going through, I feel like I can share it. Maybe there's someone that needs this. It's just, and a lot of people have been asking me, and some of my subscribers and friends and stuff been asking me I should really share my experience um, of last year. So that's what I'm gonna try and do. um, I don't want my videos to be too long, so I think I'm just gonna try and do maybe two parts of the video, if not three. Yeah, it was a whole year's happening, and people want to know how I got to this point of my life after all that I've been through. So it's just basically gonna be also just me sharing uh, 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 with you my most challenging challenge, and that is my weight and how I got to this point of my life. So let's get into it. I think this will be the first part of the video. Then we'll see how far I can get with part one. So this is just, I'm gonna probably title it whatever, I don't know. But part one, part two, I'll make sure I label it right in my title for the video. Let's talk, and let me fill you in what has been happening since I last posted my video. Uh, since I last posted a video, I always want my channel to be something about a channel that's positive and stuff. But part of being positive is also being honest. And so I'm just gonna give it to you in as real as I can, as raw as I can. So since the last video I posted, I think my health kind of took a little bit uh, of a dip, and the dip started eventually feeling like I am in a ditch, and I'm just digging myself further into that ditch. So that's why I just went off the grid, because I was spiraling out of control. My weight was spiraling out of control, and I actually didn't even know what to do or where to start. So after, at the beginning of the year, I went to the doctors, I went to my specialists and things like that to go and check. I went to the cardiologist to check my heart, and he said no, he doesn't see anything that's of concern except for the fact that I need to lose weight to make things easier for my heart, right? And then I went to the gynae, and I did all that stuff that I said I was going to do. And I literally actually felt like I was okay. But things just got worse. I started gaining a lot of weight and really, really, really fast. And I thought probably it has something to do with the PCOS that's making me gain such a rapid weight, but I couldn't place it. And my health really took a dip. I started noticing that I'm slower. I started noticing that I'm more tired all the time. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything because just the thought of me getting up and going, walking around, it was tiring for me. And the and just I don't know. I used to say it's laziness, but I used to feel like there's this, when you, I don't know if you would understand what I'm trying to compare it with. I felt like I was pulling this truck behind me. I was pulling this truck, and it was heavy. I couldn't walk properly. I was always tired. I would get out of breath easily, and it was really rough for me. And I started getting frustrated with my body, and I feel like maybe I started giving up, saying that, ah, this is my destiny, or so. So, um, there came a time when I woke up one day and I found that the skin around my navel area was very hard, and it kind of like hurt, and when I press it, it's quite hard. And then I noticed also, like, between my um on my thighs, like, my skin was very hard, and I couldn't understand what it was. I went to the doctor. The doctor at first said to me, no, he thinks maybe it's an allergy, or I've got very dry skin. I should change my lotion or whatever that I'm using. And I tried it, but it just didn't go away. It just started spreading, around my stomach and stuff. And then I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out what was going on with my body, with and around my stomach and on my thighs and stuff. So then I started noticing that my thighs is just so hard. My legs are very, very, if you touch it, it's very tight. My feet were very swollen, and I thought, like, yo, I'm gaining weight like nobody. I thought it was weight. I literally thought it was weight that I was gaining. Because everything was just tight, and I couldn't move my limbs very properly. It got worse that I couldn't tie my shoes. I couldn't I couldn't do things that I normally used to do. I couldn't do them as easily anymore. Getting in and out of my car was a battle. I just couldn't understand what was happening with my body. And eventually, as I started to accept the fact that I'm I am getting so big that walking became like, where I was not walking anymore. It's more like waddling, you know. And I said, my body is the only vehicle I had, or the only vehicle I have. My body is the only vehicle I have to move around on this earth. And if I can't even move around, what am I gonna do? And one morning I just decided, you know what, let me let me change my mindset and just go on a strict diet, very, very strict diet, cut off everything, go cold turkey on everything, and just try and shake off the weight, because for me to just move around, and it was so hard for me to move around because I felt so heavy. My legs felt heavy. My feet felt heavy. I couldn't function properly, and I was frustrated. So one day I just woke up and I said to myself, you know what, I'm going to go on a strict diet. And I went on a strict diet. Um I literally bought four ingredients because I didn't want to overwhelm myself with with too much food, or healthy food, and then you end up not eating everything. And with going on a diet, fruits and vegetables, if you don't fruits and vegetables, if you don't eat them, they go off very quickly. So I started like with small ingredients, like not small, few ingredients. Like I bought lettuce, cucumbers, onions, and tomatoes, and that was my. I made sure that it was on my plate morning, noon, and night. And then I started, and then I would buy just fish. I would buy eggs, and mince just to balance it out with, having a red meat protein. And that's what I stuck to, eggs, mince, fish. That's what I had on my plate. I tried to cut off um, carbs as much as I could. Um, so I think after a week or so, I felt better, but the weight wasn't coming off as fast as I thought. And I just told myself, you just have to be patient with yourself. And I continued and I continued for a whole month. And I could feel a bit of a difference because um, my skin it didn't feel so stretched out anymore. And on my thighs and stuff like that, it felt a little bit better. And then I thought, you know what, let me put in the effort of exercising now. And then I started walking slowly and stuff, but I wasn't getting it right. And then I think I just thought maybe I should just shock my body. And then that's when I got a personal trainer. And I told my trainer that I want to be mobile again. I want to be able to tie my own shoes, you know, not struggle with reaching places that I need to wash myself in, not struggle to walk from A to B, because walking from A to B is such a struggle. So that's when I started working now with a trainer. As you can see, the picture I'm gonna put up is the time I was working now with the trainer, and it was basically the time I was also just on my heaviest weight, right? So I even when I looked at myself in that picture, I'm like, yo, this is bad. I left myself to get this bad. But I continued to work with the trainer. I continued to work with the trainer, and he he helped me as much as he could. He did exercises with me as best he could, as best as, and me also just trying to do all the exercises. So I felt like it felt better, because then my skin was still not, I was getting better. I felt like I'm not that tight anymore, but it's still tight, but it's not that bad anymore. But the walking was still a challenge. Lifting up my legs was a challenge. I couldn't go on my knees and stuff like that. It was such a challenge. I couldn't stand long. It was a challenge. It was bad. I was frustrated. I don't think there was a day or a week that went by that I didn't sit by myself and cried and cried and cried. I had so much anxiety, um, and putting so much pressure on myself, that the trainer actually said to me, I need to relax. I need to relax my mind. I need to relax myself, and not put so much pressure on myself. Otherwise, the weight's just not going to come off, because I'm putting my body under severe strain, or I'm putting my body under stress. So try and relax. Try and not think so much about it. Yes, you have a routine now. We're gonna stick to it, but don't be so anxious. You're making it worse. And I tried to relax, and I felt a bit better week after week that I was working with him. I started to feel a bit better. But I always, every morning, I used to say to God, God, if I can just wake up one day and not feel like when I stand up, I am putting on this weight of this truck on myself, and I can't even lift my legs, and it's painful to walk, and it's heavy to walk. That was my prayer every day. Every single day I used to pray, that. And I used to say, God, I just wish I can just shake off enough with just one day, get up one day and not feel this truck on my shoulders. And it was nights and nights, days and days of crying. I had a very emotional 2021. I'm not a person that cries a lot. You can ask anybody who knows me, but I cried so many times. It and being on a diet is not an easy thing to be. I was moody. I was constantly angry. It was torment for me, and it was hard to be around people and not being able to express myself. So sometimes I'll just have outbursts. And I remember one day I cried to my mom. I cried because being on that restrictive diet and trying to stick to it every day, not actually trying, I stuck to it every day. My trainer used to ask me, what are you having for breakfast? What are you having for lunch? What are you having for supper? To make sure. And no snacking in between. And, drink lots of water. So I had to cut out cold drinks and junk food. But one day I had this outburst and I cried to my mom and I said, I, I don't know how much longer I can do this. And that's when I also realized that I am actually addicted. I'm actually addicted to food. And now that I not just any food, the wrong type of food, and now that I can't eat them, I'm constantly in a bad mood because whenever I have a craving for pizza or whatever, I I have to shift my mind and say no, it's not good. No, you can't have it. And that would make me automatically, my mood would automatically change because now I can't have that food. I want that food, and I'm battling with myself, with my inner self. And even though I feel like I had self-control, I wouldn't go out of my way to get in my car or and go and buy the thing, or just order from Mr. D and get the thing I want. I was really, really very strict with myself. But at the same time, I was battling the fact that I'm so angry. I'm so angry that I can't have this. I'm so angry. And I told my mom this one day that I had my outburst. I told my mom, I can't deal with it. I miss those foods. It was almost like I was saying, I'm grieving a friend. I'm grieving food. Does that make any sense? Right? When I'm happy, I eat. When I'm sad, I eat. When I'm angry, I eat. When any mood, any occasion, I would want to eat. I constantly thought about food every single day, from the moment I woke up to the time I go to sleep. I sometimes dream about food. That's how obsessed I was about food. It was my friend. It was my comfort. And here I am on my own will, just cutting it out. I was angry. I was constantly angry, and it would change my mood like that. One second I'm fine, the next second the craving hits, the next second I'm in a bad mood, and then my husband would see that, and then he would run the other way because he knows once I'm in my bad mood, I take it out on anyone that's close. So I told my mom, I am struggling with this thing. I miss food. I miss eating tasty food because junk food is tasty. Let's not argue about that. Junk food is tasty. So now I have to eat clean, and I can't even drink cold drinks anymore. And I was just a mess. I was a mess, a mess, a mess. For weeks I would cry and grieve and tell myself I have such a craving for burger now, right now, from McD or whatever, or Burger King. Oh, Burger King's mm, Burger King's their burgers are amazing. So I would cry. I would just yo. I was I was really I was grieving food. And the one thing about food is it's when you're addicted to it, it's not something that you can omit from your life. You need food to nourish your body. You need food to live. It's not like you're addicted, you're alcoholic or you're a drug addict and stuff. Those things you can just cut out and move on with your life. Food you cannot do without it. But now for me, the wrong foods, I was constantly in a bad mood, and I would be in a worse bad mood when I am hungry. And say, for instance, I just had maybe breakfast, and maybe a half an hour later, I feel like, yo, I'm so hungry. I'm not supposed to be having snacks in between. I have to wait for lunchtime. Oh, those few hours I have to wait for lunch, I am hangry. I am so in a bad space, and people they must just stay out of my way. I didn't even want people to talk to me. Just leave me alone. That's how bad I became, and um, I used to cry also at night and say, God help me with my moods. But it just got the better of me every single day. It got the better of me, and I had to eventually tell myself that this can't go on, God. Either I give up and be happy, or I continue with this, and at the long run, I'll get the results I want. I couldn't do it anymore, and my mom then said to me, "Why don't you just go and see a counselor? Go back to your counselor, because I normally have a counselor when I feel like things are overwhelmed, not just about my weight, but about other things. When I'm overwhelmed, I go and talk to somebody." So I went, and he tried to calm me down, and I would be fine maybe for a week or so, motivated, but then just goes back. And my personal trainer, oh shame, he is such a darling. He was so supportive. He was so, he gave me so much advice. He was so helpful to me. So I used to thank God that he was in my life, because he was patient with me. He would sit down and talk to me, and that those talks used to make me also feel better. Um, so I work now with a personal trainer for a few weeks, and then my health took a deeper dip. So I think I'm just gonna cut the video here, this first video here. And that was my first half of the experience during 2021, and my struggles, and week after week how I struggled with things, not just mentally and but physically and emotionally, because losing weight is all in the mind and in the body. So you have to deal with your emotions, you have to deal with your challenges, and not just, and you have to put structures in place, and you have to put and take on the support. Yeah, take on the support that you need from people, and have positive people around you that's going to support you and help you. That was very important. That I realized was very important. And you can't have negative people. You can't have people who enable you to eat bad, or think negatively. So that was now. So the next video will be part 2, where I go into the second dip of my health that I went through, and that was for me the the worst experience. I always say it was the worst experience of my life. So let me not go too much into it, because I don't want this video to be long, and I don't want the next one also to be too long. So please join me in part 2. Please subscribe to my channel. Please like the video. Please share it if you feel there's something that you want to encourage somebody else with, or maybe someone else didn't understand what they're going through. Maybe this video will be helpful for them. So, and please comment. I would really like to know see your comments and see what your challenges are and what you've been going through or went through when it comes to your weight, or any other challenge that you want to encourage other people. Let's talk. So feel free to comment, and please subscribe. As I said, when you click on the subscribe button, there's a little bell that appears. Click on the bell, then select all, and so that YouTube will remind you when, or notify you when I post a new video. So I will see you in part 2.